once again. Welcome to Fred's Footy Fest, and today we'll be looking at round 24 of the NRL Premiership. Now, to kick us off is Thursday night's clash between Manly and the Panthers. Now, last week we saw Manly going down to the Roosters, whereas the Panthers absolutely flogged the Storm. Now, for this week, massive losses for Panthers include Mitch Kenny and Jerome Luai. However, their replacements will probably be Jack Cogger and Sonny Luke. So, I still think Panthers have a pretty good side. So, Manly, on the other hand, I'm expecting them to lose this one. I think Panthers, they're going to have a really good game, and I'm going to say they'll win 16 plus. So, I'm going to tip the Panthers. Moving on, Friday at 6, we have the Sharks and the Titans. Now, everyone thought the Sharks were going to get flogged last week due to the loss of Will Kennedy. But they have Connor Tracy, who's, in my opinion, is really quick, and I think he definitely helped the Sharks to victory against the Rabbitohs. And the Titans, on the other hand, lost to the Warriors, so that's just convincing me to tip the Sharks. Moving on, Friday night, 8 o'clock, it's the Broncos and the Eels. Now, last week, the Broncos easily dominating the Cowboys, whereas the Eels only just snatched the win off the Dragons last week, and that was against the Dragons. That's pretty sad. I can easily say I think the Broncos should get the job done. Saturday, 3 o'clock, is a clash between the Rabbitohs and the Dragons. Now, for this one, it's Charity Shield. Last time these two teams versed, we saw that the Dragons were the winners in the end. That's because the Rabbitohs were missing a lot of their spine players. So, however, I think the Rabbitohs will get this one. I think they'll bounce back from their loss against the Sharks. But I think it's going to be a tough one, to be honest. They have, I think, Jai Arrow's out with a back injury. And last week, the Dragons nearly beat the Eels. So if they can put on a show this week, I could be convinced that the Dragons could potentially pull a rabbit out of the hat in this one. But for now, I think the Rabbitohs will get the job done. 5:30 from FMG Stadium in New Zealand. It is the Tigers and the Warriors. Now, for this one, I'm going to tip the Warriors, sitting third on the ladder, beating the Titans last week. However, I think that they struggled a bit. Whereas the Tigers, on the other hand, only just lost to the Raiders, as per last time they encountered each other. Now, for this one, as I said, I'm going to tip the Warriors. They've been a strong side all year. They've got an easy run home. I think they can make the finals and stay in the top 4. The Tigers, on the other hand, remain in 17th, and I think they'll stay in 17th. 7:35, it's a clash between the Roosters and the Dolphins for the Arthur Beetson medal. Now, last week, the Roosters easily dominating Manly, whereas the Dolphins, on the other hand, just missing out on the win against the Knights. For this one, I think I'll tip the Roosters, because if they keep up how they were going last week against Manly, I think they'll easily get the job done against the Dolphins. However, the Dolphins did have a good game against the Knights, but just couldn't finish in the end. So I think the Roosters should get the job done. Sunday, 2 o'clock at Amy Park, it's the Storm and the Raiders. Yep, two good rivals here, and the Raiders have a great record of wins against the Storm. However, for this one, being in Melbourne, and Jerome Hughes is coming back for this one, and I think the Storm will bounce back, honestly. And on paper, I think their side looks a lot stronger than the Raiders, and not to mention Sebastian Kris will not be in this one, so that'll just boost the Storm even more. And the last match to wrap up this week of footy, it's the Knights and the Bulldogs. Knights, they've been playing great footy so far. They've bounced back into the top 8, and yeah, I think they should easily get the job done against the Bulldogs. Their defense has been pretty good. They've had decent attacks, so I think there's nothing stopping them this one. So I think I can easily say that the Knights will get the job done. Now, we're going to have a sneak peek at next week. And that will be round 25. To start us off, it's the Cowboys and the Sharks. That'll be a decent game to watch. Friday, we'll have the Warriors and Manly. Pretty good way to kick off your Friday night footy. Followed by Eels and Roosters. I think that'll be a tough one. Saturday is the Tigers and the Dolphins. Followed by the Titans and the Panthers. And Saturday night will be the Dragons and the Storm. Sunday will start us off with the Knights and the Rabbitohs. Good game to kick us off for the Sunday. And the final match will be the Raiders and the Bulldogs. And the Broncos, the powerhouse of this year, in everyone's opinion, will have the bye. Well-deserved bye, as they are going very good so far.
Fantastic.
And that's it from me. Tune in next week. Bye.